Hello and welcome. It is such a joy to have you here. Today we're going to talk all about the Kakebo journal. Have you heard of Kakebo before? If you haven't and this is your first time, it is such a joy to have you here. Don't worry, if you're new to budgeting, Kakebo is not intimidating at all. I'm so grateful that I get to teach you about Kakebo. I'm a relatively small channel here on YouTube, so your support means everything to me. Really, if you'd like to see one of my future videos, go ahead and hit the subscribe button as well as that notification bell and you'll see when I post again. So what is Kakebo and where does it come from? Well, Kakebo is from Japan. Kakebo is the art of saving money. It is looking at your income, looking at your expenses, setting goals and setting yourself up for financial success. And if you're in a space where you're wondering, ooh, does this mean I need to buy something? No, if you don't need to buy a journal, you can make your own journal. We're going to be doing that now together. I love making my own journal, and if you don't have time to make your own but you still want to follow along, I will put some links in the description box where you can purchase an already beautified journal. But who needs to waste more money? Let's start making our own journal today. So what you're going to need is just an empty notebook. I personally like using a big notebook like this, nothing fancy, just an A4 one with a whole bunch of blocks. Oh, I quite like the little blocks. So if you can find one of those, it just makes it easier. If you like using colors, go ahead and get some colorful Kokies. I would recommend 4, and get a ruler and a pen, and let's jump straight into it. So start off by writing the month. If you want to get yourself in a good mood, get some jazz or whatever music you like in the background, maybe pour a glass of wine and get excited. I think if we just get in a headspace where we look at our finances and we say, man, this is going to be a good time, it just takes a bit of that fear and anxiety that you may have carried from years of bad experience. Just set yourself up for success, create a good environment, get in a good mindset, because this is a lot of fun. So if you get a fixed income, then this part is easy. You just create a space where you're going to jot down your income. But perhaps you work from home and you have a whole bunch of different revenue streams. Then this is a space where you can write down the date, the amount of income that you receive, as well as the source of where the income is coming from. So I work remotely and I get revenue from a few different online income streams. You can check out this video for more on that. But you know how much space you would need for this block. Just tailor it to you and your job and the income that you're expecting, as well as where the income is coming from. The next thing we're going to be looking at are your fixed expenses. So this is an example of how I like to draw it up. You know what fixed expenses you incur every month. Are you renting a place? Are you paying mortgage? You know what fits best for you, and you can just fill it out according to you and the fixed expenses you incur every single month. So pretty simple so far. We've got our income, we've got our fixed expenses, and now let's talk about our goals. What are your goals? What do you want to achieve? I like to break it up into these 3 sections. I call it the PM, pay myself. Man, if you work hard every single month and you're like me, you get pretty excited when you see the income coming in. And I like to reward myself by paying myself first every single month. So what do I mean by this? Depending on whether you get a fixed income every single month or whether your income varies, you choose what this amount is. What do you feel is a good amount that you should just be saving? And I call it paying myself, but it is ultimately taking this amount of money and putting it into a savings account. Some people find the term saving a little bit scary in the sense that they feel like they never have money to save. But perhaps just terming it something different, like saying I'm paying myself every single month, and seeing that as something you choose to do and have to do every single month. Maybe it's a small little mindset shift that will just encourage you and empower you to save a little bit of money every single month. But commit to what it is and write that down. Then think of something that you want to cut down on. So if I reflect back onto my life, I used to be incredibly healthy. I'm still healthy, but not as obsessive as I used to be in the past. Man, I used to get acai bowls and protein pancakes and matcha something else. And I just realized that that is a lot of money that I'm spending every single month that I really don't have to. So it was just cutting down on making those expenses and just thinking about, oh, okay, how can I cut down on this? If a friend asks to meet me for breakfast, maybe it's just getting ready to not order the acai bowl because that is a lot more expensive than simple eggs on toast. You got to determine how frugal you want to be. What do you want to achieve? What do you want to cut down on? And how do you plan on cutting down on it? And what is your cut down plan? And then the next thing you're going to do is just create a space where you can just look at it and get a good understanding of exactly what's going on. So look at your income, subtract your fixed expenses, subtract the amount that you're going to pay yourself first every single month, and then what are you left with? You are left with a certain amount of money, and that is the cash on hand or your cash available for the rest of the month. So what I like to do is I like to fill the rest of the space with information that I will be reflecting back on and filling out at the end of the month. But before I let you see what that is, let's jump straight into what your weekly spending will look like. So go ahead and turn that page. You're going to outline your weekly expenses from Monday to Sunday, and you're just going to create a nice little table that you can fill in at the end of every single day. Quick, easy, simple, to the point, and you're just going to look at what you're spending money on and to which expenses they go. So pause this video and watch this video over here where I dive deep into the different types of kakebo expenses. There's the essential spending, there's the optional spending. Then we talk about cultural and entertainment spending. And lastly, we look at those unforeseen expenses or those extra expenses you might incur every single month. If you have a rough idea of what those could be, you can continue. But if you really want to dive deep into kakebo, watch that video because it will give you a lot of insight. So then create the table and use colors if you like. I love using colors because it just helps me differentiate the different types of expenses that I'll be incurring, and you know what, it makes it pretty to look at. So create this for as many weeks that you're going to find in that specific month, and when you have, you can just create a little table under the cash available that has your weekly spending total. And what's really amazing about kakebo is that you'll be able to see which expenses you are spending most on every single month. Are you perhaps getting too many massages? Or if you're a blonde like me and you have to pay somebody to keep blonde, is there perhaps a cheaper way that you can go about that? You can make this really fun and lighthearted. Just look at what you're spending money on and think about whether it's actually important or not. It's up to you. You are so empowered now because you just get to see what you're spending money on. Then you're going to have a little bit of a moment and reflect. How did you do? If you want, you can draw between 1 and 5 stars, or you can create funny faces. Whatever it is that you like, make this personal, make this authentic to you. That's what's going to keep you coming back to this every single month. And then finally, end off with a note to yourself. What can you change? What did you do well? Celebrate your successes, but don't celebrate too much where you spend all of the extra money you might have saved. Thank you for spending your time with me. I hope you found this content valuable. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And I'm really excited to share more content with you in the future. I do have other videos on how to overcome debt, as well as how to talk about finances with children. So go ahead and give those a watch. And I'm sure you're trying to make a difference in this world. So whatever difference you're trying to make, I wish you everything of the best as you journey towards that. Thanks for spending your time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.